the side-by-side view. So you can find that by scrolling your mouse over the upper right corner of the screen. Now, we encourage you to participate, so please open your chat box to type in your questions. And at the end of the segment, you will be allowed to connect with the presenter and ask a question. We will also have a Q&A portion at the end of the presentation, so you can ask additional questions. Again, this is a time to engage with our staff, get your questions answered, and our hope for this event is for you to get started and make this a smooth transition. So hello, everybody. My name is Bedla Ramos, and I am an Assistant Director of Enrollment for the School of Business, and I'm joined with my colleague, Leanne Gonzalez, who's also an ADE, who's going to be managing the chat box. We'll be introducing a few guest speakers, and we'll be going along with the presentation. So we're going to go ahead and cover a few things today. We're going to go ahead and talk about student success, the professional perspective, veterans and military and services, student financial services, textbooks, what's next, and then we'll have the Q&A portion. Just to let you know, you may log off at that time after the Q&A. If you need registration help, we will be staying at the very end of the presentation to kind of go over student planning if you need that additional help. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Harmony Carr, who's an Assistant Director of Student Success. Harmony is, and her colleagues will begin working with you once you begin the program till degree to completion. So take it away, Harmony.
Thank you, Perla. Well, once again, my name is Harmony. Again, welcome to the university, everyone. I will be explaining all the different resources that we offer through the Student Success Department here at the School of Business. Some specific details addressing academic advising. So what classes you need, in what order you need them, degree completion, how do you obtain your degree by the end, what do you need to do to be eligible to do that. Student planning and self-registration, you'll hear student planning and self-service being used interchangeably, but I'll be able to explain that a little bit in detail in just a moment. We also offer tutoring and disability services. So for students who need additional assistance in their quantitative courses, we do offer that. We also offer accommodations for students who need those resources as well. Study abroad and business consultancy programs. We really like to have the opportunity for students to actually travel abroad and earn credit for that. Of course, due to pandemic, some of those logistics have changed. And so we're hoping that coming this fall and going into the next academic year, we're able to offer some more of those opportunities. The mentor program is actually really well known in the School of Business. We have the opportunity to work alongside some of our alum who are working professionals. Our director does her best to actually match up students with alum who are in similar fields, have similar interests, and even, if possible, similar locations for monthly meetups. And also commencement preparation. So what do you need to do to be eligible? What can you do to find out what you should do to be able to walk in our May commencement that happens once a year, every year? We do help with that. The Online Advising Center in Moodle, which is actually the platform that you'll find your course shell. With us continuing remote instruction, you're going to be in Moodle quite a bit this term. And so we like to make sure that our resources are easily accessible. So of course, I don't expect you to remember all that I go through right now in this particular orientation. However, you can find the same information in that particular section of Moodle, and I'll show you where to find that in just a moment. We'll also be going over program planners and student checklists. These are things that you can find in your initial appointment with your advisor. You should receive an email to your Redlands email address in between weeks 2 and 3 from your assigned advisor, and you'll get resources to help you plan out those next steps. So if we can go to the next slide. Thank you. So one of those resources is our student checklist. We do have 2 different versions for our undergraduate students as well as our graduate students. And we really want to give you a roadmap to success. What should you be doing before class starts? You'll see on this particular slide, the very first thing is back to school night. So great job. You've already completed one of those. You're already on that road to success. So after that, you're registering for classes, you're ordering books. You're also making sure you have access to my redlands.edu, your Redlands email, and Moodle. Now, I do want to emphasize that your Redlands email is very important. I do have a lot of students who like to and feel comfortable using their personal inbox, and we do try to reach out to you that way when we can. However, the official correspondence from the university will come to your redlands.edu email. So I do encourage you to link that to your personal account if possible, and check it at the very least once a week. You will get communication from your professors, usually about 2 weeks before your course begins. So definitely keep an eye out for that. We can go to the next slide. Okay, and looking at this degree planners, it's a very overwhelming graphic here, but I'll try to explain the basics of it. We're trying to empower our students to know what it takes to complete your degree and in what order you need to do so. So when you meet with your advisor in these appointments, we'll give you your version of a degree planner. It is based on your specific program. It is also based on your specific start. And so we'll let you know what classes you should be taking. You'll also be working hand in hand with your enrollment representative to let you know in that first term. But you'll really be working from a form that looks similar to this for your specific program and by term. Now you'll see on this particular slide, there's a space for the section. So that's a specific location that you're going to be registering for. You'll see different letters representing, say for Redlands, it's IR. You'll notice those different details within student planning. Same thing for start date of the course. You have the 2 8-week terms within the semester. The day of the course, you want to pay attention to that. And most importantly, I would say, are these prerequisites and the availability. Not all courses can be taken however and whenever you want them to be taken. So we like to give you the tools for you to be able to read those different logistics before planning out and seeing what your estimated degree completion, because of course that's the goal, right? It's to finish. So in order for you to be able to know when you're going to be done, we basically want to give you the calculator to do so. Now with that, the availability, our courses are offered every 6 months. So by chance, if you need to take a break from courses, a leave of absence is a possibility. Say, for instance, it's just a hard term and we maybe need to retake a course. We want to be able to give you all the dates, or the months, I should say, of when those courses will be offered again. And you can work hand in hand with your advisor to replan this planner if need so. We can move forward. Thank you. Now, talking about self-service. Like I mentioned before, self-service and student planning are kind of used interchangeably when you're speaking to your advisor. But to explain the difference, self-service is a system that we use. Student planning is a feature within self-service to help you plan out your degree. Now, when you when you go into myredlands.edu, you'll see this maroon menu on the left here. It's the same. There may be some different applications within the menu, but this is mine. And self-service is currently chosen, and it's going to open up to this top graphic you see that says steps to getting started. On the left, you'll see the option for view your progress. This is a page that loads, if you're an undergraduate, everything that you've transferred in. For every student, it'll also show everything that's been completed, everything that's in progress, and everything you have yet to complete. It's very helpful when you're using the previous slide that I mentioned, that planner, to be able to mark off, simply scratch off everything that you've completed and to see what's left and to organize those courses that way. To your right, you'll also see the plan your degree and register for classes. Now, this is a tip that I'll want to emphasize as well. There's a 2-step process. You do plan your classes and you do have to register. They're separated like that for a specific reason. So we do have plenty of students who will put a course code in this top search for courses search bar that you see. It's a little faded, but that's where you would search your course. And you have to both plan it into your calendar just so that you can see how it looks in the calendar. And then you also have to register your course. So when you look at this bottom graphic, you'll see that the right here is the yellow plan check mark. Your courses will show that if they're on your calendar, but they will not be registered until they show up in green and say registered, comma, but not started. So that is your goal, and that's how we will make sure that you are registered for this upcoming term. We can go to the next slide. Thank you. So Moodle, on that menu that we just saw for self-service, to the left of that, there was a Moodle button, and that will open up your dashboard. This is currently my dashboard, so your organization might look a little different. Even in the bottom card portion where you see specific names of courses, you can actually change them to a list if that is your preference. I like seeing the big graphic of I'm almost done. Look at that 25% complete, that 93% complete. It really helps motivate me. So I would encourage that, the same for you. Over to the left, this menu. Again, your dashboard, I want to point your attention to, and then I want to point your attention to My Courses towards the bottom. All courses that you have taken are or registered for, I guess I should also say, and course shells that remain open will be found here. So you can kind of just toggle through that menu to be able to look at the different specifics for those courses. Your courses are organized by week. So as you open them, you'll see the week 1 folder. You should be able to open them, and your professor has pretty much already organized what is due within that week. I would encourage you to log on as soon as possible. As soon as you see that the Moodle shell is open, take a gander and see what is already there for you. You may have some pre-course preparation work, so you do want to make sure you're prepared for that. Also on this page, you have the School of Business Online Advising Center. That's at the bottom of this left menu. That is one of the features that the School of Business Student Success Department specifically has put within Moodle to find all of the resources that I mentioned in the beginning of this presentation. You'll see the different assignments of the team. I am one of 6 members of the Student Success team. We are all spread out on the different regional campuses. We even have some advisors that have a little bit of a different assignment, including myself. I think overall now I cover 4 different campuses depending on that particular division. So you do want to pay attention to who your specific advisor is, take down their information, and look out for that email in your Redlands inbox in weeks 2 and 3. Okay, we can go to the next one. Alrighty, so these are this is our student success team. We are all assistant directors of student success, advisor for short. If we can go to the next slide, you'll actually be able to see all the contact information by campus for these specific advisors. So I would encourage you to take that down. If you are by chance a part of any of our community college partnerships, you would be working with myself. And on top of that, I think community college partnerships, I think that's about it. Yeah, just myself. So it's a good thing I'm here for this presentation. But other than that, of course, if you would like to reach out, ask any questions, we will be your main point of contact. So I just want to make sure you know that we are available to you for anything you may need by call or email. And feel free to set an appointment at any time. Thank you. Any questions?
At this time, you can unmute yourself if you have any questions to learn a little bit more about this department.
These will be our specific advisors that we'll be going throughout our program.
Yes.
Thank you.
Of course.
Hi,
Okay,
this is
well-
Rose. I have a question. Hello, good afternoon.
Hi,
I'm just
Rose.
wondering, I know that we're going to classes online for now. Do you have a tentative date when we will return back to the campus?
We are hoping to do so for fall. However, that is subject to class availability at your specific campus. So you will want to make sure to keep your eye on how do I say this? How a class is offered at your specific campus. There will not be on-ground options for every campus. So if you're hoping for an on-ground, you do want to make sure that you are one of the first to get online to register and find where an on-ground campus, on-ground class is happening for you to attend at that remote location or that regional location.
Okay, can you provide, please, the exact registration date for classes?
Sure, for fall, because registration is open now, right, for new students? Okay, and then for fall, we will be opening registration on August 2nd.
Oh, my birthday. Yay.
Happy early birthday. Anything else? Okay, I think that's it.
All right, well, thank you, Harmony, for
Thank
all
you.
the great information. Next, we actually have our Professor of Communications and Cultural Studies, Allison Freyberg. And she'll be discussing a little bit more about what she talks about in class.
Thanks. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the University of Redlands. You'll notice that is clearly a photo of my pre-COVID hair, and we're all making adjustments, right? So we just want to welcome you. I'm here. The enrollment team and the advising team is telling you all the specifics, and they're amazing. And I've worked with them for many years, and they're absolutely amazing. I'm just here to talk for a couple of minutes to give you a little perspective from what it's like in the classroom. And I see my email was just posted in the chat. Feel free to email me or find me on LinkedIn. Okay. I'm happy to talk to you. In fact, some of you I'm probably teaching this summer. So I look forward to meeting you. But I am, as Perla said, a professor of communication and cultural studies. I'm actually a founding member of the School of Business. Well, actually, my time at Redlands predates the School of Business itself. So I started at the University of Redlands, believe it or not, in 1996. And so I believe I have just finished my 25th year of being at Redlands. And I've been teaching in the School of Business since it started in 2001. So what I can tell you, these are some of the courses I teach. I mostly teach in the Masters of Science in Organizational Leadership and then in our undergraduate programs. I teach leadership communication. I do teach our study abroad courses for working professionals, which I'm going to talk about more next time with the resources. But I want you to know that we will be starting up again, and our study abroad courses are about 10 to 14 days, and we visit businesses every day. And in fact, I'll just give you this little teaser for the next time we meet. I just got off the phone a little while ago with a dear friend who's a wine exporter in northern Italy. I actually met her last year on a global consultancy capstone when I took a team to go work with her company. And we are conspiring about all sorts of things we're going to do on the Adriatic study abroad, hopefully in the spring. So ask me any questions you want about study abroad, and I'll talk more about it next time, but you can email me. What else do I do? I am also direct the Writing Lounge, which is our little webinar series that we've been running since the pandemic broke. And anything you need about writing stuff, we do a little webinar every couple of weeks. I give you some strategies to help you move through that. And actually, I know before the 16th, next week is a tech takeover where I'm having a guest come in to talk about using Microsoft Teams and how you can get group projects to work on Microsoft Teams. So you might want to come by to that. But this is the idea I ascribe to right here. You've probably read it by now. It's on the screen. If all a business school does is teach students how to do obediently the things we already do in business, we suffocate innovation and imagination, and we fail you and the most creative aspects of business. So that's my approach to being in the classroom. And if you go to the next slide, please, thank you. I want to frame that in terms of our 21st century skills. We're a business school in a liberal arts institution. We believe in long skills. And these are the skills that are going to last beyond any trend in business, the skills that we're always going to use and always going to need. And here are some of them that we've been working with in the past few years, especially. Concepts of having a global perspective, being collaborative, being integrative, trying to figure out how things work together, analytical, spatial, ethical, persuasive, societal, and environmental. These are all topics and themes built on skills that are going to last forever. So when you're in a classroom, as the days, I guess most of you are starting pretty soon, right? Probably starting in a few weeks, in June, right? Thank you, Leanne. I want you to keep these thoughts in mind. And here's what you can expect. If you're expecting, I know we're starting online. I know that. We've been doing it for a while. But if you're expecting to just sit there and watch some slides go through and kind of fold your laundry while you're doing it, you're going to be surprised, because above all, what we want to see are you engaging with each other, engaging with us, grinding out these problems and these situations and figuring out how to bring what you're learning with us into your life outside of us. So with that, I'll stop because I'm faculty and we can go on forever. So I'll stop there and just say welcome, and I look forward to working with you.
Thank you, Professor. Is there any questions for Professor Allison?
Professor, actually have a question. A lot of students that we are enrolling, they haven't been in school for a while, so they're a little bit nervous. Is there anything that any advice that you can give them to put them at ease as far as coming back to school?
Yes, yes. And this is what I've watched 25 commencements just at Redlands. And you know who walks across that stage? The people who just kept coming. That's all. They just show up. Whether you got your assignment done or not, whether you got the reading done or not. By the way, get the reading and the assignments done. But keep showing up. And if you are running into trouble, because if there's one thing we understand is that you have lives outside of school. We still need to get the work done that's for school, but you got to reach out. We are a friendly lot. I promise you that. So when you're about to panic, when you're about to think you can't do it, email your instructor, keep showing up. Be lousy if you need to, but just keep showing up. And if you need a personal pep talk, email me and I'll make sure you stay. Okay?
Thank you so much for your time. Always inspirational, always. So next we actually have, thank you again, Professor Allison Freeberg. Next we have my colleague, Tom Bosman. He's going to be talking about military and veteran services.
Thank you, Perla. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to first take this opportunity to thank those in attendance who are currently serving or who have previously served in the armed forces, as well as those who have family members who have previously served or are currently serving. Perla, if you could go to the next slide. Thank you. So just want to quickly give an overview of our Military and Veterans Services Office. So if you are currently serving or previously served and have tuition benefits to utilize, whether that be tuition assistance in the military or the GI Bill, if you have not been in communication with our Military and Veteran Services Office yet to ensure that you can utilize, that you can transfer or activate your benefits with us, please reach out to Monique Pope at military@redlands.edu. Or contact numbers there. She is the director of this office, and she's a veteran herself, and she's well versed in how the benefits work. So the main capacity of this office is to help you with questions and to provide guidance and understanding your benefits if you have questions surrounding that. And then there's some other bullet points here, some other services that this office provides, recognition to those who are military affiliated through different events throughout the year, including graduation. There's a student veterans organization, and as well as resources both through Redlands and off campus as well, that we can help guide you toward. So if you haven't already taken a look, I encourage you to look at the redlands.edu/military page, because that provides a lot more comprehensive information on the services that we provide and the opportunities that are available to you as a student. And that's it for me. Back to you, Perla.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank
Is
you.
there any veterans out there out in the virtual world there? Any veterans? Okay. Well, we'll move on then. Thank you, Tom, for giving us some insight in regards to all of this. And this is a very important topic for those military members. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and talk about student financial services. I'd like for everybody to be reminded, for those that are actually applying for FAFSA, this is the time to be applying, especially starting for the June session if you haven't already. It's very important to get that done. It normally takes about 3 business days once you've completed it to actually get it processed. And I want to make sure that you're actually completing the right school year, because a lot of people still think it's 2020, 2021. Actually, at this time, we're looking at 2021, 2022. And if you're looking to know what the FAFSA code is, it's 001322, if you can put that up. Oh, perfect. Okay. So in our team of financial aid advisors, we actually have 2 people, and they're split up by alpha. We have Diana Resendez, who covers A through J, and Cheryl Mata that covers L through Z. And they're the people that you're going to want to contact at any point. Even if you're not utilizing financial aid, any loans and that sort, if you have fellowships, employer tuition, scholarships that you'll be utilizing, I highly advise that you get in contact with your advisors and discuss those options with them. For those that are actually thinking about paying out of pocket, we do have payment plans also that we can help you with. But again, I highly encourage you guys to get to know your financial aid advisors, and also get familiar with your student portal. Your student portal has resources there that you can view your financial situation depending on what you're looking to do. So definitely, again, I can't stress it more, because I always hear a lot of students, this is like the big topic, right? When they're going back to school, is where do I get these resources? And, again, who do I contact? So definitely take down these people's, depending on your alpha, our financial aid department, and get in contact with them very soon. Student app and ID. So we're virtual. Basically, you're going to want to download the app here. Again, it's going to have all the different resources that we have available for you. It makes it really easy if you're on the road or anything like that, again, to get into these applications. We also have your student ID, so you can take advantage of some of those student discounts. So definitely take advantage of downloading this app. You can find that in the App Store or the Google Play, and get started with that. Now, at this time, we're going to talk about textbooks. I know that's a big topic for many of you guys, if you guys are already registered and know what classes you're going to want to take. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually share my screen. Instead of kind of showing you this specific slide, I'm going to share my screen as to how to go about finding your textbooks. So give me 1 second, and I will be sharing that specific screen. Okay, so once you log into your student portal, and again, this is very important for you to log into to get access to your student portal. And again, that comes down to accepting your acceptance and completing your decision reply form, so you have all this access. But once you have this access, you'll open up to your SharePoint, and at the top, you'll see a Find It. You'll scroll to the right and you'll actually see the bookstore. Then you'll come and see textbooks, find textbooks. And I'm actually going to give an example of one of the MBA courses, the 24-month MBA course, as far as how to find your courses or your textbook. So you're going to drop down, and since we are in summer 2, we're going to pick that. And then it kind of starts auto-populating certain things once you put in the term. So in this case, I'm utilizing, what did I pick? Oh yeah, BUAD, no, sorry, BUAD. And then if you click here, I'm going to look up 632 and then your section. So this is where your campus is going to be located. So I'm going to go ahead and pick IR 13. And then we're going to pick find materials for one course. And there you go. So this is where it's available. This is the book that they'll be utilizing, Economics for Our Managers. You can buy it here from our bookstores. There's many other resources out there that you can look into. Many like to buy from Amazon or other Barnes and Nobles if it's available. So as long as you have your book, that's all that's important to us, but you can find your textbooks here. Does anybody have questions about the textbook part of it before I move forward?
So if there's a few books that are listed, once you put your section in, those are both required textbooks. Is that correct?
In this case, are you talking about this specific class?
No, honestly, I've just been doing it as you go. So for the specific course that I've inputted, there's a few books that are listed. So I just wanted to make sure that I need to get both of them.
The required courses are here on the top. If it does say optional, then they are optional. I mean, that's all I can really say depending on your class and the program that you're in. If you have any questions, you can always contact your assistant director of admissions or enrollment, and they can also help you as far as really kind of letting you know if you need all those additional books, so you can get that. And also by accessing your Moodle in your syllabus, it'll actually indicate what books you really need. And I highly encourage students to definitely look at your syllabus, which will be released 2 weeks before classes start, to really look at what books you're really going to need and what the professor is indicating on that. Any other questions? Okay, let me go back and share PowerPoint. Okay, so what's next? At this point, you're going to want to complete your registration. Now, if you have not received your username and password, it's either you haven't completed your decision reply form, or maybe there's a glitch or something that could have happened, or maybe you lost your email. I know sometimes it goes into spam, but you definitely want to reach out to your ADE to assist you with that. We want to make sure that you are getting access to student planning so that you can move forward with registration. While you were actually RSVPing for this event, you should have gotten an orientation link, which I believe Leanne is going to go ahead and put that orientation link. I highly encourage you guys to definitely go through the orientation. It's a lot of information that I think is very useful. It really breaks down every resource that is really available. And I would use it as my Bible to, going to school here, as anytime that I run into any situation or don't know who to contact, or maybe there's other things or resources that you're unfamiliar with, I would definitely refer back to this orientation link. Now, the only way you're going to be able to access the orientation is, again, if you have your username and password. So it's very key that you definitely have that. We're also going to be hosting a resource and opportunity information session. This is on Wednesday, June 16th at 12 p.m. I'm really hoping that you guys will be able to join. We're going to go into a little bit more about resources. This time around, we're just kind of getting you started and telling you what's the next steps you need to do as far as while you're before classes start. But while you're in class, you're going to want to know a lot of different resources that are going to be there. So like Allison's going to be there. She's going to be talking a little bit more about the study abroad program. There's going to be career services talking about the opportunities and different events that they'll be having. So again, it's very helpful to know what resources could benefit you or help you at the end of the day. So I highly encourage you, again, if you guys can RSVP. The email will come out next week, so to RSVP for that. But again, I encourage you guys to be a part of that. It's going to be really good information. Now, official transcripts. Many of you guys have submitted your application with an unofficial. I highly encourage you again to actually order your official transcripts, because if you don't get your transcripts in, your officials, by the time you second registration comes up, which is in September or August, I should say, you're going to have a perk hold. So it's very important to get those official transcripts in so that you're not being held back from actually registering. So if you're not sure if your officials have arrived, please contact again your ADE about any of that, and they can tell you exactly where you're at with your transcripts if they were received. Again, purchase your textbooks. This is the time you can start looking up some of the books. If for any reason you don't see your books, again, I would wait for the syllabus to come out and then look at what the professor, because maybe you don't need a book. So again, look at the syllabus, which you'll find in Moodle. And of course, going to Moodle, printing out your syllabus, like I just mentioned, checking for homework. Now, I'm not sure if everybody is aware, but in Moodle, you're going to find a Peregrine. A Peregrine is an assessment that you have to take, all students. The great thing is it's not GPA driven or grade. It's not going to affect your grade, but it is something that we do have you guys take to really kind of know where your knowledge or your beginning knowledge of every program is. So if you're in the MBA program, we want to know what you know. And at the end of the program of your entire degree, you'll take another Peregrine in regards to just knowing how much information you retained. Again, this is a great practice for us, you know, to know how you're retaining the information. And again, it helps us, you know, change curriculum or not, or strategies in regards to that. So please look out for that in your Moodle. Usually it comes out about the same time, about 2 weeks before, but just keep checking if they release it earlier. The last thing that we're going to want you to do, once you actually get started and you start attending class, you're going to get an email. Now, you're going to be asked to check in to class. It's not by showing up that you're going to check in. It's by this email. So it's very important, once you receive the email, and you'll get it them usually the Sunday or Monday before classes start, you'll get this email, and you're going to want to check in through your email. That is how we keep track that you're actually going to be attending. And so the professor at that time won't be keeping track in that sense. So it's very important for you to check in. If not, you're going to be getting a call from your ADE reminding you in regards to that. So other than that, that's really just what our next steps are for getting you guys started. At this time, you can unmute yourself if you have any questions. If you don't have any questions, you're more than happy to log off at this time. But I will be going through student planning if anybody does need additional help in regards to registration. So let's hear from you guys. What questions do you guys have?
Perla, hi, this is Anita. I just want to welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us over your lunch hour. One way to check your textbooks is to copy and paste that ISBN number. And then you can go to different resources, as like Perla mentioned, Amazon. Chegg is a textbook rental. And sometimes they're less expensive than the University of Redlands bookstore. I mean, you're always welcome to shop in the bookstore. They have used books, but oftentimes textbook rentals or Amazon is a little bit less expensive. And you can just copy and paste that ISBN number to make sure you're getting the correct textbook. So that might be something that's helpful.
Thank you, Anita. That's very helpful. Is there any more questions out there? Okay, what I'll do now is thank you guys for the ones that are still sticking around here. I'm going to go ahead and start the student planning section, part of the segment here. If you have any questions, please again indicate them in the chat while I'm going through the student planning. But thank you again for coming to the event. We're so happy to have you guys. Always excited to see new faces and have more new Bulldogs, right? So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started now if you guys don't have any questions. Last call for questions. Okay, all right. Here we go as far as when it comes to student planning. Okay, so as I mentioned before, that student portal is very important. Again, you're going to want to have your username and password to log into here. And I know Harmony in her presentation, she mentioned self-service. When you open up the page, as I opened up initially in the SharePoint, you'll see this burgundy tab and it'll have a lot of little icons. You're going to find the self-service here. Then you're going to, once you log in, it's going to say you're going to pick student planning. Next, you're going to actually plan your degree and register. So you're going to click on that. Now, at the top right corner, you're going to see a search button. This is where you're going to want to have your program planner. We're going to type in your class that you'll be taking for the June session, and you'll keep it all together. You don't want any spaces. Okay, just like this example. So then once you open that up, you're going to see in the middle, view available sections. So in this case, management 633, you'll see that. Once you see the drop down, it'll give you many different options of different campuses and classes, and it'll also indicate how many seats are available, the times that they're going to be held, the location. So you can read all this information here. You want to make sure for the June session, it actually says 6/21 as a start date. I know that there's other start dates. There's some really good filtering features on the left-hand side to kind of help you with that if you don't want to just search the main available section. But once you have this, just reassure that what class you're actually registering for or adding to your plan of schedule. So again, in this case, it's 30 seats available. It's held on Saturdays from 10 o'clock. It's in January and on the Redlands campus. So then you're going to go ahead and add the section to your schedule. And then once you open it up, it's going to look like this. It's going to give you a little bit of a course description of the class. It's going to give you the times that you'll be taking the class, where the location's at, and so forth. If you're looking for on-site, if it's virtual, hybrid right now, it'll indicate all that information there too. Then from there, you're going to go back to your plan and search for other courses. Once you are ready to register, you'll click on register and you'll find your class under your schedule. I don't know if you see on the left-hand side, it says schedule. There's a little tab there. You're going to want to click on the registration button. And usually it'll indicate, right now when it shows planned, it's typically like a colored yellow or like a tan, like a mustard yellow color sometimes, depending on your screen. Once you hit the registration button, it'll show green. And that's when you'll know that you're registered for class. And so this again is kind of showing an example of when you know you're registered. Again, if it's planned, it's in this color. If it's registered but not started, it's in green in this color. So that's a good indication as far as if you've registered for class. And again, it has a little bit of the information of what the class is. And then of course, the meeting information. Sometimes students forget, where am I meeting? What time am I meeting? You can always drop down the menu and you can see the meeting times and the meeting dates and where the location will be. Other than that, that's really just it. Any questions? Everybody's a little quiet.
Like, did we really cover everything? You
I
you
know
guys
there's going to
can
be so many
also
questions. There's so many questions that they could ask. But that's okay. I know some people are shy, but you can definitely reach out to your ADE, and we are there to help you to make this, again, a smooth transition. We want to make sure that you're prepared, you have all the resources available, to get you started.
Yeah, I would highly recommend looking if once you have access to your Moodle portal going in. You don't know what you don't know, so there's going to be questions that come up as you go through the links that we provided. So please feel free to reach out to your assistant director of enrollment who's been helping you through this process as far as getting enrolled, and we'll be able to get you ready for that first day. We can actually, walk you through registration one-on-one if you need that assistance.
Any additional questions? If not, again, I want to thank you guys so much for joining us today and getting the information. We will have that resources event coming up in June 16th. So please don't miss out on that. I think that's going to be a very important event because, again, once you're a student, you're going to want to know about all the different resources and the things that you could take advantage of while you being a student. I know many people treat school as a commuter school. Don't treat your school or your education at this, at the university like that. We have so many different things that are going on, different events. Be a part of them. You're just going to gain so much more insight in regards to everything that we're doing. And we're not just throwing events, we're doing stuff to really with a purpose. So I'm hoping that you guys will be a part of it too. But definitely, you got to look at the events and actually register.
And that email will be going out, I believe on Friday, if not Monday, for the resource and opportunities webinar. And again, it's going to be like this one at noon, about an hour long, and you guys will have the opportunity to RSVP. Anita, is there anything else that we need to mention?
No, I just want to kind of reiterate. So what Perla has shared with you today is sort of what you need to be focused on immediately. And then the event on the 16th is really kind of the fun stuff, our study abroad trips, library resources, which, well, that might not sound fun, but it's a good thing to know where to look for scholarly journals and research articles that you're probably going to need if you have a class that Allison Freyberg is teaching. So it's all a part of the graduate program. And if you're an undergraduate student, you'll want to be privy to that information as well. So again, don't think of it as like, oh, now we have to do another thing for Redlands. Think of what we talked about today is really needs to be kind of a high priority for you, getting registered, getting your textbook, being familiar with that My Redlands portal. And then in a couple of weeks, we'll talk about signing up for a study abroad trip and how that, how that impacts, you can substitute a course if you want to go on a study abroad trip. So there's just a lot of things that we're going to talk about in the subsequent session on the 16th. So I hope we'll be able to see all of you again in a couple of weeks. But as Perla said, please reach out to myself or whoever you've been working with. We're happy to walk you through the registration portal and make sure that you're feeling comfortable and good to go.
Okay. All right. Well, it was a pleasure, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye.